when it when it comes to healthcare sector, even during the pandemic period, we were one of the pioneering states who have issued very specific incentives for oxygen manufacturing to meet the demand for that time. And also, our state is regarded as the healthcare capital of the global south. So there is also an increasing medical tourism. So that way, we had progressed sufficiently when it comes to healthcare, and there has been various initiatives by the state government to promote innovation in life sciences. Even in the past, there was a biotechnology related manufacturing policy. And through this policy, we wanted to come up with an overarching policy which will cover some of the segments like biotechnology, bioservices, pharma, nutraceuticals, medical textiles, and medical devices. To give you a quick glimpse, we are the second largest economy in India. We have about close to 9% of the national GDP. And to some of you who are not aware of this, recently in the export promotion index, Tamil Nadu stood first in the export promotion index, and the contribution of medical electronics to the exports has also been significant. And over the last 5 years, the contribution of medical electronics and some of the pharma related manufacturing products has been significantly improving from the state. And in terms of power, yes, we are a power surplus state. And one of the most interesting aspects is out of the total installed capacity, close to 50% of the installed capacity is coming from the renewable energy. So most of the manufacturing players who are coming up with some or the other proportion of the captive energy from the renewable energy generation. So this is we have provided a conducive environment, and B, our policy regime is also supportive to encourage them to go for greener energy alternatives. So this comes a long way for companies who are focusing on ESG norms and all. So that way we can say that we are one of the states who is extremely conscious about environment and social governance related safeguards. In terms of infrastructure, we have six major airports and 22 seaports in the state, with four of them being the international seaports with significant handling capacity. Over 50% of the state is urbanized, which is the highest in the country. And in terms of the industrialization, we are home to about 62 of the Fortune 500 companies. So we can say that not just the manufacturing, both in terms of the service sector, we are marching ahead. So in terms of the industrial infrastructure, we have 39 industrial clusters across the state, and about 20,000 acres of land is available in various SIPCOT. So SIPCOT has, you might be aware, so this SIPCOT, which is a state agency, they have the aggregate these land banks, and then they give it on lease to various manufacturers who are interested in, and it ranges from like let's say any range of investments from sub large to ultra mega projects, and they also facilitate all the basic amenities and infrastructure provision at the doorstep of the industries for seamless operations. Beyond the land banks, we also have plug-and-play facilities available in Tamil Nadu. Case in a point, even some of these Tysol bioparks have similar kind of infrastructure for any any player in the biotechnology, bioservices, or any related research. If they want to carry out, like if they have not scaled to the level of commercial manufacturing, but they want to carry out the research and all, they can use the available facility in the Tysol bioparks as well. So like I stated, yeah, surplus power, and we have substantial renewable energy capacity. Definitely water availability. We are also exploring options like TTRO supply for the industrial water to meet the needs of the industry. So Here, I'm presenting the overall landscape of the life sciences manufacturing within the state. You would see that we have about 400 plus companies spread across health tech, med tech, biotech, and medical electronics. So, pharmaceuticals, we have the major players. Recently, Mile and Maiva, all of these players have come to us for incentives under the life sciences promotion policy. Medical devices and medical electronics, Omron, and these we have already signed facilitation MOUs for supporting them with the incentives. Biotechnology, biopharma, and R&D, GCC, and health informatics are the other segments where we have substantial landscape in terms of life sciences manufacturing. So broadly, so these manufacturing segments have cost advantage in this state. When I say cost advantage, uh, primarily segments like the nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals, very specific to drug formulation, drug intermediaries, medical devices and electronics, biotechnology, and medical textiles. The reason why the state can offer a cost advantage is by virtue of the infrastructure, the logistics, because most of these need, faster logistics, connectivity, movement, and it is highly sensitive in that regard. So that way, the state can offer a cost advantage to a larger segment of the life sciences segments. Then, SIPCOT is currently developing a 350 plus acre medical devices park. And very interestingly, this park has they're developing this with the plug and play facilities, the required EMC related testing facilities. I think very recently we have conducted a stakeholder consultation with all the important players in life sciences to understand the requirements for the testing facilities so that any manufacturer who's aspiring to set up his facility in Tamil Nadu need not worry where the testing should take place. And incidentally, these, uh, before floating the tender, we sort of gathered these inputs from the players to create the advanced testing facility, which can be used by MSME, not just sub-large, large, and higher range of investments, but also MSME players as well. So about 50 plus companies have already expressed interest, and I think more than 20 companies have already signed up for land within the medical devices park. And yeah, so with this background, I wish to introduce you to the life sciences policy, which we have launched last year. So this was launched with an objective to develop Tamil Nadu as the preferred destination for researchers, and also create an ecosystem with infrastructure support, just to establish and operate higher value chain products in the life sciences and improve the overall ease of doing business in pharmaceutical, medical, textiles, and other related manufacturing, and also improve local production capacities and uh, sort of scale up in import substitution when it comes to APIs, biologics, and other cutting edge medical equipment. So the overall, we had targeted that the goal of this particular policy is about INR 20,000 crore of investment in life sciences related manufacturing and generating at least 50,000 jobs. And incidentally, we found that particularly in life sciences, these jobs are ranging from semi-skilled to skilled. The nature of the jobs, and that way we can target anybody from 11th and 12th to diploma to other engineering graduates. So definitely improving manufacturing in this sector can improve the employment across a wide range of the semi-skilled to skilled employees graduating from our state. So the levers that we are betting on is improving the ease of doing business. Some of the important licenses pertaining to pharma or life sciences manufacturing companies, we have got them on board in the single window portal. Creation of the enabling ecosystem. For instance, we are talking about creating the medical devices park, the Tycel bioparks for carrying out the research, and incentive. Yes, fiscal incentive support to sort of encourage investors to. Uh, it is more like catalyzing. Definitely, yes, the state offers a cost advantage. We also want to substantiate that with some level of incentives to catalyze the manufacturing and scale up in terms of creating the ecosystem within the state. So broadly, the existing ecosystem to support the life sciences players, so it could be any range of players. It could be MSMEs or a 50 crore player or any mega category player. So the strengths that Tamil Nadu is focusing on is in terms of creating life sciences parks. There is a dedicated medical textiles facility that we are targeting, bioparks which are developed by the Tycel, medical devices manufacturing facility near Oragata. Apart from these, the state had, through various funds like the Industrial Ecosystem Fund or Emerging Sector Seed Fund and the Research and Technology Fund, out of which the Emerging Sector Seed Fund and Industrial Ecosystem Fund have already been registered, and there are various players who are, applying for support through these funds. So, for instance, the Industrial Ecosystem Fund through this any infrastructure support, very specific infrastructure support for the industries, we are able to support the investors through this particular fund. Emerging Sector Seed Fund, this is the TNIFMC funding. So they're very actively evaluating proposals from various startup companies. And this is primarily focusing on biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, so which have already been recognized as sunrise sector in the overarching industrial policy of 2021. The Research and Technology Fund, yes, for these, we are in the verge of releasing the guidelines for the Research and Technology Fund. So through this fund, we are planning to support various mechanisms which could be uh, not directly making a commercial sense, but it is in the various stages of product scaling. So all such kind of initiatives, and it could also have faculty exchange programs, and we are exploring various other range of initiatives. And recently, a delegation from government of Tamil Nadu has uh, visited the Swiss Biotech event, and over there also the delegation had discussed a lot on how can we leverage the Research and Technology Fund, not just for established manufacturers but also to support the academia. So the guidelines for this is right now evolving, and this also gives us more scope. Any feedback from startups and all is definitely welcome. So we can try and incorporate that in the Research and Technology Fund. So we also have skill development programs. So we're targeting to develop this life sciences sector skill development council, and through which the dedicated skill development programs can be carried out, and this support can be offered to the manufacturers as well. So apart from the on-job training that they usually give, we can support the manufacturers with this kind of skill development. Definitely, institutions of national importance is something that Tamil Nadu can boast of. So across the value chain, we have interdisciplinary institutions which have pharma, medical devices, and biotechnology which are aligned with these sectors in the state. Very important ease of doing business is we have some of the important clearances related to drugs control department and home prohibition and excise, which are right now on onboarded with the Tamil Nadu single window clearance portal. So this substantially reduces the time for establishment of the industry within the state. And now coming specifically to the fiscal incentives that are available. So the policy primarily discusses about incentives from a range of sub-large and above. To give you the category, so we have uh, sub-large, large, mega, and ultra-mega category investments. This has been designed by taking into consideration investment and employment factors. So any investments, like any non-MSME investment, when I say that the investment is greater than 50 crore and less than 300 crore and creating 50 jobs is regarded as a sub-large category industry. So between 300 crore and 500 crore is a large industry. Between 500 to 5,000 crore is a mega industry, and over that is a ultra mega industry. So our usual Tamil Nadu industrial policy, if we are to discuss about the incentives in an A category district, like let's say where we have the medical devices park coming up, it does not cover, like there is no scope for a structured package of assistance for any investment less than 500 crore in A category district. But considering this is a sunrise sector, we through this policy, through this dedicated policy, we have substantially reduced the threshold to as low as 50 crore and 50 jobs. So that any MSME which is scaling up can which has reached the threshold of 50 crore in terms of the capex investment over a period of 4 years. It's not just 50 crore in 1 year. It is 50 crore over a standard investment period of 4 years, can also avail incentives under this particular policy. So our incentives are structured like these are structured around the factor inputs. Like for instance, there are incentives for land in terms of land cost subsidies and all. There are incentives to support the workforce, labor in terms of training subsidies, skilling incentives. There are incentives for the capital. There are direct capital subsidies, or if applicable, there can be a turnover subsidy that can be given. And the plant and machinery is also covered under the capital subsidy. And apart from that, in terms of the operating expenses, we are also supporting companies, with some level of quality certification, intellectual property creation. So this is the overall. So this slide that I'm showing is the overall incentive that is available as part of the this particular life sciences policy. So the investment promotion subsidy that can be provided is up to 40% of the EFA. It depends upon, like definitely if it is an ultra mega project with substantial scale of investment and employment, you can always avail up to 40% of the EFA, and it gets scaled down depending upon the size of the investment and employment. So the fixed capital subsidy, like I had indicated, it ranges from 5% over 5 years for 50 crore and 50 job investment in A category to as high as 25% over 15 years for an ultra mega project in C category district. So primarily for players in, let's say, in the medical devices park, so the top row is something that they can target, the 5% over 5 years, scaling up to 20% over 15 years. So this is the first category of investment. There is a flexi capital subsidy, which is again a formula driven investment. So it is a factor of both the investment and employment. And there will be some additional boosters given if there is an export of more than 25% of the output from the manufacturing entity, or if there are additional ancillaries created, or if there is substantially high employment that is being generated. Turnover based subsidy is something applicable for mega category investments, that is with investment over 500 crore with a minimum employment of 2,000 jobs. training subsidy, one of the most interesting subsidies, like for instance, the capital subsidy and all of that, the investment promotion subsidy, you will need the investment to be in place and the commercial operation to be in place to avail all of this subsidy. But training subsidy is something to encourage skilling in the state. This we have opened up even prior to the commencement of commercial operation, because training needs should be met for successful manufacturing operations. So even prior to the commencement of operations, you can always avail the training subsidy, which is about 4,000 or 6,000 per employee per month, depending upon the category of the employee. For about 6 months, this will be provided. Land cost subsidy, 10% of the land cost in A and B category district, and as high as 50% of the land cost in C category district. And by the way, in C category, we have one of the Mitra textile parks, and where we are also trying to target medical textile related players. So these players can avail an upfront 50% land cost subsidy. So then we have 100% stamp duty exemption in all majority of these government parks. And if it is a private player, this is given like a back-ended subsidy. Then enhanced incentive for quality certification, because from various stakeholders, we've got this input that quality certification is of extreme importance when it comes to life sciences, and it needs to be. So to support that, up to 1.25 crore, while in general, in a general sense, in the industrial policy, it is only 1 crore. We have increased it to 1.25 crore for large and above investments, and for sub-large, it is about 50 lakhs. Then there is an intellectual property creation. Any in-house R&D that the company may be targeting, even for that, there is a reimbursement of up to 1.25 towards the expenses incurred within the state. Interest subvention, 5%. There are ceilings subject to the scale of the project. This subvention is being offered for a period of 6 years. This can start from a period from the COD. For a contiguous period of 6 years, any company can avail this interest subvention in most of these nationalized and recognized banks. So then we have the other standard incentives, which include your 100% electricity tax exemption for a period of 5 years. So it will include both the TANGEDCO-based consumption, and if it is a captive consumption, the self-generation tax that will be exempted. So there is a green industry incentive. So most of these players are now keen on installing, like let's say, demand-side energy efficiency measures or rooftop solar to, sort of improve the consumption from green energy sources and all. So those also we are covering by giving them an incentive of up to reimbursement of 1 crore. This is back-ended post the expenses made within the factory premises. And then we have SGST refund on the capital goods applicable for entities which are facing an inverted tax duty. Like the input tax is higher than your output. In that case, there is a natural provision that SGST on the capital goods for eligible plant and machinery can be availed. Then one other interesting aspect and about this policy is the inclusion of R&D in EFA. Generally, in a traditional manufacturing setup, we have, the kind of immovable properties which are capitalized in the book of the accounts. Here, we wanted to sort of widen the definition of the eligible fixed asset on which the incentives will be structured around. And we have included testing and measuring instruments, prototypes for testing, design tools, software cost, IPR patents, and expenditure related to transfer of technology. There is a particular ceiling of 20% of the EFA. So this is something that had been introduced very specifically for the life sciences policy to support them, because without this particular investment in R&D, this goes hand in hand, specifically for let's say formulation or any other pharma related companies. So this is something that we have introduced in this policy. Then we have the overseas training subsidy. Uh, this is something very interesting in the sense that the parent company, let's say it is in the US or the UK. So all the supervisors who will be working here, who will be imparting the on-job training to the workforce, can avail this particular subsidy. They can get the supervisors trained in their parent companies, understand the standards, and sort of transfer the same technology to the manufacturing units within the state. Anchor unit subsidy is something that you can see only in the life sciences policy. This is something related to the insurance premiums that the companies would be paying, considering the nature of the contracts, the delivery contracts and all that the companies will have. We wanted to encourage companies to sort of get into the insurance and reinsurance programs, and which is why we have introduced this particular anchor unit subsidy, followed by the environment protection infrastructure subsidy. While in a typical industrial policy, it will be within one crore range. So in this, for a mega or an ultra mega, this is as high as up to 10 crore. Then we have special incentive for the certification renewal. So this is the special incentive for the certification renewal. It is ranging from 15 lakhs for sub large to 40 lakhs for large and 1 crore for the mega. So year on year, whatever certification renewals that they need to undertake can be refunded through this mechanism. So broadly, this is the incentive structure. Apart from this, primarily this is applicable to the investments which are more than 50 crore. And beyond this, whatever is applicable as per the MSME policy of 2021 will also the investments in the medical technologies and the life sciences can avail any investment which is less than 50 crore, or they have a turnover less than 250, which is recognized as an MSME. There are definite incentives listed under the MSME 2021 policy. This is something that the scaling up startups can immediately take a look at. So beyond this, the other initiative that guidance is undertaking is wherever the road shows that we are participating, we are sort of promoting the startup Tamil Nadu, in the sense that we are pitching the various startups present in the Tamil Nadu, introducing the categories of startups and what are the segments of focused segments in the state. And there also we are generating leads in terms of consulting firms located in the Europe or the US, who are keen to support our local startups to scale up and commercialize primarily, and then subsequently scale up to become, like let's say, a sub-large or a large category manufacturing investment. So we'll be updating the startup TN or sharing these leads with them, so that individually the startups who are tied up with the startup TN can reach out to these members, and then you can also think of organizing some pitch fest and all, so that our local startups can also get a platform to present their products to in the international forum. Yeah, so this is broadly what I wanted to present about the policy, and I can take any questions from the team. Aparna?
Sri Ramya, we can go ahead and ask questions if people have any.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sri Ramya, thank you for the presentation. I'm Dinesh from Startup TN. Just want to know is there any incentives or any provisions for translational research or from research to commercialization? Is there any?
Yes. So, like I said, while this is primarily a manufacturing policy, any industry who's committing to certain investment in manufacturing, but also want to have this associated investment, there is a scope that we can cover under this policy. But if it is only into the research and not associated with the manufacturing, that then it falls under the ambit of the Tamil Nadu Research and Development Policy, where there is no commercial operation associated with that particular investment. It is primarily at a very much at a testing phase. So that will be, this scope is covered under a different policy, which is the Tamil Nadu R&D policy, which I will explain maybe in a dedicated session later.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I can share this presentation with Aparna. She can pass it on to all the participants. And beyond that, if you have any queries also, either you can share it with Startup TN or you can write to Guidance Tamil Nadu. So we have one Mr. Vishnu Madhur who is looking into the life sciences dedicatedly. So we can revert to you on any query or any query that your some of the startups could be consultants also. So any queries that your promoters would have, we are keen to answer.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ramya, for saying that. So if anybody else wants to ask anything or have any doubts, you can use this time, like maybe 5 more minutes.
My name is Balasubramanian. I have a question, madam.
Yes, sir.
So you don't cover under biotechnology, healthcare and all that, is it? Healthcare, digital and all that does not come under biotechnology.
We do cover that, sir. So like for instance, any wearables or any device, whatever be the size of that, but related to healthcare. Like for instance, recently we were guiding one promoter who is doing a nano tube kind of thing, which is used in the dialysis kits.
Okay.
So even that we are covering and supporting, so long as they meet the thresholds of the investment and the employment, we can cover them under this policy, sir.
Okay. Is it pure? If it is purely digital, I mean software or some big data platforms and all that?
So if it is purely digital and there is no capex, like in terms of hardcore machinery involved in it, then it will have to be viewed under the R&D policy, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Policy, because in the research and development policy, we have listed life sciences as one of the grand challenges. So this particular technology, if it is fulfilling any of these grand challenges, that way it can be covered. But alternatively, we are coming up with the research and technology fund, where these proposals can be submitted to government and we can support through funding, sir, earmarked under the R&D grant.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, madam.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
This is Dr. Kalimullah here. I have did a PhD in biotechnology and working for a private organization in Bangalore. I'm developing IVD devices, in vitro diagnostic devices, like pregnancy device to various cardiac markers.
Okay.
I have one thinking like having one setup in Tamil Nadu, very close to my rural area.
So we lost you.
In this regard.
So we lost you, sir. Can you repeat, sir?
I have an idea of setting up my medical device company in and around my rural village.
Okay, sir.
I'm unable to take a call, like when it comes to regulatory and statutory requirements, how I'm going to meet it and the approval, how it takes place. If I want to specifically set up the firm very close to my native.
Okay, so we can support you. For instance, you can submit us your initial expression of interest, outlining the product detail and all, and then we can help you with the list of clearances. So there is a single window portal. Directly, you can log into the Tamil Nadu single window portal. There is a chatbot facility. If you give some brief description of the product and all, the list of clearances and all will be populated, sir. But outside that also, you can always visit Guidance Tamil Nadu and you can get some understanding on what are these initial clearances, not just the business clearances, but other general clearances required for any manufacturing industry, sir.
Okay. Fine. I have requested through mail as well for the last 2 to 3 months back, but I haven't received any response yet.
I'll do one thing. With Aparna, I'll leave the mail IDs of this dedicated team which is looking into the life sciences sector. So
Okay.
just reach out to them, or else even right now through the new single window thing, you can set up an appointment with MD Guidance as well online. So this will be reviewed in a period of 1 week to 10 days.
Okay. Great. When it comes to regulatory approval, madam, can I know like how it is going to help me out through this single window?
So single window is a mechanism where there are specific timelines attached to the various approvals. Like individually, if you were to reach out to the companies, the investor might not know what are all the associated clearances. And even if you missed any one of the clearance, your commercial operations will get impacted. So here, on behalf of the investor, Guidance or Fame TN, they will take care of getting you all the necessary clearances. Considering there are attached timelines, so any approval which is getting delayed, there is a mechanism for deemed approval as well. If it is not, there is no revert. The department is not reverting with a genuine reason. There is a mechanism for deemed approval as well.
Okay. But
yeah, you can visit the Tamil Nadu single window portal. There is a chatbot facility and other things. You can explore the services over there. So if you still need some handholding support, please write to Guidance Tamil Nadu and we'll definitely help you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, this is Gomadi Nayagam from Saudi.
Yes,
sir. You didn't cover about, is there any status about the aerospace park in Tamil Nadu near to the, what is that, the Trichandur area?
Yes, TITCO is looking into this, sir. I think they will shortly update the status and all. So we will take it up when we are discussing the aerospace policy. We have a dedicated policy for aerospace. So when we are discussing the aerospace policy, maybe we can take up the infrastructure and what is being developed under the sectors.
It is going to be covered today?
No, not today, sir.
It will be scheduled later, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, in case if I want to get the information about that, how do I reach them to get that?
So TITCO is the nodal agency for these parks, sir. So you can get the information from TITCO. I think even on the website.
We already had a virtual policy session on aerospace and defense. I have the recorded session. I might be able to help him. I can
Wonderful.
take it.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Is it possible to share with me that?
Yes, I can do. You can put in an email to me and I can share it with you.
What is the email ID for you?
You got the invite from my email ID, abarna@startuptn.in.
Yes, yeah. You want me to?
Yes, please. Write to the email. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is Sugan, and thank you very much for the presentation just now you've done. I represent an organization called the Tamil Nadu Apex for Healthcare, and
yes,
it is
sir.
under the Tamil Nadu Skill Development Corporation. So yes, I could, in one of the slides which you presented, I could see that the TNSTC can establish an apex body in association with the Life Sciences Sector Skill Council. So I don't have a question. I'm just trying to give an information. Our apex body for healthcare, we have just signed an MOU with the Life Sciences Sector Skill Council very recently. And the very important objective of the MOU is to create and develop design the programs for the life sciences sector in the total. And we will be establishing a center of excellence very soon in association with the Life Sciences Sector Skill Council. So I'm very keen to understand more about what else the state can, put in terms of the skill training, in terms of the requirement for the industry. And this is something which we can do because we have a pool of experts who are all working on this, which I'm very happy to support the guidance Tamil Nadu also. If required, I can support in that as well.
Okay, sir, you can get my ID from Aparna, sir. You can just drop in a message and all. So we have a dedicated work labs team, sir. Mati Vadani is heading that team. So she is sort of, we are creating a bridge between the graduates or, students, academia and the industry. So there are internship programs, all of that we are designing in conjunction with the industry, sir. So we can definitely look into it, considering very recently we have supported some of the life sciences players with fiscal incentives. We can start discussions with them if they can design any training programs or accommodate any of our talent pool. So all of this we can discuss, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you for this. Thank you, sir.
I'll send my number and I'll get your details from Ms. Appan also.
Yes, sir. Quite helpful.
Hey, hi. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Dr. Anand from Ramchandra Incubation Center, Korur.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
So we do also have the ethical approval committee in our institute. So that is different. But my query is, do you have any separate policy in licenses, especially in VR and AR related? Because I'm getting continuously query from a lot of startups regarding the virtual reality platform. Do you have any support in this regarding?
Yes. So VR, AR, all of that we can cover. Like for instance, like I said, we have a dedicated R&D policy as well, sir. So any player who's focusing on these technologies, we have this R&D policy which is not directly linked to commercial operations, but we can definitely support these players who are intending to, like in this policy, even the lease rentals and all can be covered. And there is substantially higher employment incentives, sir. So R&D policy is already available in the website of the Investing Tamil Nadu. So any investment, including the lease rentals, that can cover, they can be provided some capital subsidies and all. Otherwise, they can reach out to TNI FMC. So there is an emerging sector seed fund, so which these startups can leverage, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure, sir.
Hi. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. My name is Gopi. Actually, I work upon this one, Sustainable Development Goals 3, which
yes,
is
sir.
Okay. So my idea was like, after hearing to your thoughts, I already have an idea, like which is like safe drinking water, where we can tell you like how safe the water is and what are the components. Like the water can be clear, but it will have a lot of what you say unwanted particles and that, right? So
correct.
I have that one in mind, but I don't know whom to approach for designing it. Since you people talked about that gadget designing and all.
Yes,
so whom should I contact or?
So, like I said, if it is not at a commercial scale, sir, definitely TNIFMC or startup TN, you can submit the proposals. Once our guidelines for the research and technology fund is prepared, so then under each of these sectors, we will be evaluating the proposals to support. So already the emerging sector seed fund, it is very active. TNIFMC is evaluating the proposals, and any startup who's like let's say some level of approval for their product, they're able to support it. But if it is still in the premature stage also, we can look into supporting these through the R&D grant funds.
No. For this particular project, I'm not looking for funds. I'm looking for somebody who can design it. Funds is not an issue for this.
So in that case, what we will do is there are few consultants, who are part of the Swiss Biopole and all. We can put you in touch with them. I will share some of these contacts with Aparna. She can pass it on to the startups. So these people, you can get in touch. They're consultants and who are ready to transfer the technology and eventually, sort of what we call become equity players with these startups. So they have some programs like that. So I'll share the details of these institutions with the startup TN. So maybe you can, it's worth exploring, sir. Yes, sir.
That will be helpful. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So Aparna, so after this session, I will share with you some of the details of the consultants and there is a Biopole network, Swiss-based Biopole network, and some of the clusters, international startup clusters. So there can be twinning programs like our startup, local startup can be supported by an international startup. So all of these can be explored by Startup TN. So I'll share these contacts with you. So if any pitch fest or anything is being organized, you can always write to them, and some of the promising startups can be given a platform to present before these associations. Okay. So
sure. That'd be great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure. So I will share this with you shortly after this presentation. So any other queries also, you can just take a note of it and you can pass it on to me. So I'll be happy to revert on the queries. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So also I have something to say to all the participants also, Ramya, since you're here. So you might have noticed that we are having a new initiative under the stakeholders engagement. We call it as Industry Vertical Forum. So we map every startups and kind of in a 30 sector, and we have one specified sector for healthcare and life sciences. So we are working on creating a forum for healthcare and life sciences stakeholders. So we bring in startup community, industrial players, incubators, academia, R&D centers, like expert mentors, maybe investors, and policy makers like you, and government departments under one umbrella. So anybody who's in need of anything related to healthcare or life sciences, they can just join the forum and they can eventually be able to get answers for everything. So this is the comprehensive aim of having this forum, the Industry Vertical Forum. We are currently working on it, and we launched one in the first week of July. And we are planning on one for health sciences and healthcare and life sciences also. So maybe when we bring in everybody with the contacts you said, it could be really helpful for us to set up the forum as
well. So thank you everyone for this opportunity, and hope to interact with you all soon. Sure. Thank you, Aparna.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much. And we'll wind it up here. You can write to me for any questions you had in the session or anything that we can help you with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.